I am American social democracy, and I want to talk about what is appalling and what is uncalled for. And for those that think that many people on the left, ranging from the radical left to even liberal centrists, who worry about rising fascism, well, this is not hyperbole. It's the man's words himself, Pearson Sharpe. And just in case you don't know who Pearson Sharpe is, he works for OAN. And just in case you don't know what OAN is, OAN stands for One American News, or some people call it One American News Network, OANN sometimes. Well, OAN was created as a political news site for really too far gone right wingers who felt like Fox News became too liberal. For those that felt like Fox News wasn't racist enough, for those that felt like Fox News wasn't homophobic enough, for those on Fox News those that felt like Fox News wasn't anti or Islamophobic enough, for those that think that Fox News are just a bunch of liberal, wishy-washy people, and they wanted something stronger than Fox News. If you can imagine that, OANN or OAN. Well, this past week, and I'm presuming June 24th, 2021, AON's Pearson Sharpe, just like many people on the far right who are Donald Trump supporters, are still on this conspiracy theory that Donald Trump won this election, apparently won it by a landslide, and that his presidency will one day be restored. Some people think as early as August. Now, and they act like, well, Donald Trump was so wonderful. Why in the world did he get rejected? Donald Trump didn't take this COVID crisis seriously. I mean, he did not take it seriously at all. And because there was lack of leadership, and we had several 100,000 Americans die needlessly. And I'm not saying it's Donald Trump's fault that we have COVID, but I'm saying it's his inaction. And I'm not being partisan. It's the inaction of Trump. It's the inaction of state governors from both parties, congressional Democrats, congressional Republicans alike in the U.S. House and the U.S. Senate. And there's enough blame to go all around. And the response was really horrible. We have a pandemic, no universal health care, no public option, no nothing. At best, a stimulus check here and a stimulus check there, which is better than nothing, but still didn't go far enough. We should have had a UBI. We should have had universal health care as a result of this. Instead of having Stephen Mnuchin basically asking corporations, "Hey, come in, raid the treasury. These trillions of yours. Oh, we can't afford health care, and we can't afford to do things that normal countries do around the world. We can't do those things, but we can go and give trillions of dollars to multinational corporations." And what do? They took the money. They still lay off employees. Some of these companies are not even American. And yet, Donald Trump talking about making America great again. All you Trump supporters, I'm talking about all you really rabid Trump supporters. What the hell did he do that made America great again? What the hell did he do? Now, Joe Biden is not much better of a choice, granted. But the thing about it is, because Donald Trump was so incompetent in handling this COVID crisis, that became the death knell of his presidency. And no, yeah, I know China's not a good government, but I don't think that China created this virus to go and destroy the Trump presidency, because this went around the world. You had a lot of other governments getting deposed and taken out of power. And many countries around the world actually handled this crisis, I hope, a lot better than we did. I mean, whether it's Jacinda Ardern's government in New Zealand, they handled it very well, so well that New Zealand became one of the first countries to actually get back to normal, and where there was no longer necessity to wear a mask or do social distancing. Everything was like 99.9% freaking normal again. To a lesser extent, that's true about Australia. And even in Great Britain, Boris Johnson, with the way giving people unemployment in the terms of kind of like a UBI of sorts that cover 80% of people's wages, so people didn't have to unduly suffer. But here in the United States, we screw people over. People get evicted. They lose their jobs. They have less access to health care than before. And the right winger was like, oh, why did Donald Trump lose? He must have been cheated. Give me a break. I know Joe Biden has the charisma of a snotty handkerchief. Okay? That's true. I mean, he's just a doddering old fool, senile, dementia bound, and I'm not making fun. But Donald Trump didn't do jack shit to address COVID the way he needed to, and people were tired of this human Molotov cocktail called Donald Trump. Yeah, he was exciting to a lot of people around 2015, 2016. They had as much excitement as they could take with this guy. And therefore, it is no surprise that he lost the election. I will argue whether Donald Trump would have been reelected or with the election of Joe Biden, we still all lost the election, because most Democrats and most Republicans, both parties, are garbage. Now, let me talk about OAN again. Pearson Sharpe, belly aching like the partisan hack that he is about this election, and how Donald Trump was cheated, and how terrible it is. And here's the thing. You want to know what cheating is? Election fraud is? Florida, in the year 2000, where we, as a result of Kathleen Harris, who was the Secretary of State in Florida, who oversaw elections, Governor Jeb Bush of Florida, who's a brother of George W. Bush, a Supreme Court filled with Ronald Reagan, George Herbert Walker Bush appointees, basically committing a coup and basically putting in George W. Bush as our dictator for the next 8 years. That was election fraud, not this past election between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Now, are there infractions by Democrats? Sure. Are there infractions by Republicans? Sure. As a general rule, there are people that cheat on both sides. But I do not believe for a second that Donald Trump was removed from or defeated this election as a collaborative effort of China and Pakistan and Venezuela and Cuba. I don't believe that for a second. That's down the level of libtards when Donald Trump defeated Hillary Clinton in 2016. Oh, the Russians collaborated with this election, and Donald Trump is a pawn of Vladimir Putin. That's how stupid. It was stupid when Rachel Maddow was saying that every night. And Pearson Sharpe is just as stupid as Rachel Maddow with this election fraud and election fraud and election fraud. And you got to hear this video. You got to hear this video, what he has to say. And I am going to comment in just a moment.
Whether or not you believe the 2020 presidential election was stolen, the simple facts point to massive and widespread problems with voting integrity. These problems range from missing ballots to ballots that were mysteriously flipped from Trump to Biden, to entire states like Texas banning certain voting machines after investigations revealed they were prone to hacking and foreign interference, to election observers in multiple states being blocked from watching the ballots, to poll workers on camera repeatedly scanning the same batch of ballots over and over again. Despite their best efforts, the radical Democrats left fingerprints all over the country, providing a trail of evidence that the 2020 election was not only tampered with, but was actually overthrown, which raises even more questions about exactly how many people were involved in these efforts to undermine the election. Hundreds? Thousands? Tens of thousands? How many people does it take to carry out a coup against the presidency? And when all the dust settles from the audit in Arizona and the potential audits in Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Nevada, and Wisconsin, what happens to all these people who were responsible for overthrowing the election? What are the consequences for traitors who meddled with our sacred democratic process and tried to steal power by taking away the voices of the American people? What happens to them? Well, in the past, America had a very good solution for dealing with such traitors: execution. Treason is considered the highest of all crimes and is the only crime defined in the U.S. Constitution, which states that anyone is guilty of treason if they support America's enemies. So far, there have been numerous indications that foreign governments, including China and Pakistan, meddled in our election to install Joe Biden as president. Any American involved in these efforts, from those who ran the voting machines to the very highest government officials, is guilty of treason under U.S. Code 2381, which carries with it the penalty of death. The U.S. has a wide range of laws covering treason, including sedition, insurrection, and even advocating for the overthrow of the government.
That's what fascism looks like, folks. This is the mentality to have to deal with. And I'm not monetized, so I'm gonna say it like it is. Pearson Sharpe, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, and fuck everybody who thinks like you. Because this is fascism. You don't like the election results, you're going to go and urge to kill your political opponents. How the hell am I going to interpret it any other way? And then people wonder why we have Black Lives Matter, why we have Antifa. It's never occurred to you that you got people like this. It used to be 25 years ago, this kind of rhetoric was made for a bunch of rednecks in the woods in Wyoming or Montana or someplace like that. Beer belly rednecks, with their AR-15s and camouflage, shooting somewhere, you're doing target practice, talking about overthrowing the government. It used to be that way, and we used to look at those rednecks. Aren't they silly? You put a suit and tie, and you give them that nice little yuppie look about them, and they go, these voices all of a sudden manifest itself on One American News Network, places like that. I don't even think that Alex Jones would have gone to this level, okay? This is like making Alex Jones look normal, okay? Making Alex Jones look reasonable. That's how far gone these people are. And we got a fascism problem. Now, I am a free speech absolutist, and I even think that fascists, as horrible as they are, as evil as fascism is, those who believe in fascism, as long as they're not harming anybody, they have a right to free speech. But you know what? It's good that they are heard, because you know what they're doing and you know what they're up to, and you can take these people on, because you need to know what they're doing. And that's the best way to have them exposed to America. And right now, we have a fascism problem, and it's being articulated by people like Pearson Sharpe, people like OAN, members of Congress like Marjorie Taylor Greene. I mean, this keeps up. You're not going to have Donald Trump next time. You might not even have Tom Cotton or Ted Cruz. You may end up with Richard Spencer in the White House, or you may end up with people like Gun Girl, Caitlin Bennett, as a member of Congress. I mean, this is where we're headed right now with this fascism thing. And we need to be there to take these people on as far as our ideas. And I'm just want to warn you all about this. How outrageous. How outrageous. If you like what you heard, press like and comment. If you disagree, comment anyway. Feel free to share the content on this channel. As a First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you, to create your own platform and utilize it, because we're the muckrakers of our time. Feel free to also subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. Until next time, I am American Social Democracy. Peace. Class struggle yesterday, class struggle today, class struggle tomorrow, and class struggle until we achieve full economic and social justice in our time.